Welcome to Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show!
Wholesale Hotline number 90. Are you kidding me? Look at this. These guys are giving us with the 90s. What's up? There we go. He's got the whole crew going there. Pace and Jamil are in Orlando.
We're going to move the laptop. Give us a second.
Okay. Well, while they're doing that, let me introduce to you guys the champions. The first and second place winners of the Closers Olympics 2021. We're going to go Munif Saza in the silver and RJ Bates the third with the gold. Guys, I got to tell you, I learned not only was it fantastic to see you guys in action live talking to real property owners, but to see the way that you overcame the objections, handled, like moved the conversation in the way that you wanted to the direction of getting a contract signed in regards to RJ Bates. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. And Munif, I am telling you, brother, this is the first time I've seen you go. I know that Pace has a lot of experience with you, but brother, you are unbelievable. And I applaud both you guys and celebrate both you guys. So here it is.
Well done.
Anyway, welcome guys to Wholesale Hotline. RJ Bates, are you back home now?
I am. I'm back in the office, feeling good. Excited to be here, and thank you guys for having us. It was a blast yesterday. Brent, you are the smartest judge of all time with the perfect score. I mean, I said it before. I'm happy you lived up to my expectations.
Listen, I got a lot of heat for that, but when the ref steps in, you got to get a perfect score. So absolutely phenomenal. Jamil, looking good out there. I'm glad that you have some reception.
Is it a little too loud? Should I mute it?
No, you're good, brother. You're good.
Wonderful.
But Munif, I mean, you were the first one to lock him up. I mean, you were the one that came out guns blazing and we're making the impact right away. Talk to me about how'd you feel about it? Did it feel natural? Did it feel weird? You know, RJ's been doing, you know, he has 50 shows of him locking up deals live in front of the public. How did it feel, Munif?
It was overwhelming. Like, it was like super overwhelming. I was so like overwhelmed with just everything that was going on. So for a lot of people who don't know, I had a team. Like RJ, he was comping stuff himself. RJ, you're like comping everything yourself, right? Right, man? Yeah. He's a freaking expert, right? I had a team. I had people helping me comp. I had a transaction coordinator. I had a full team, and I want to shine a lot of the credit on them because I'm not experienced enough to do all of that by myself. So I needed all the help I could get, and that help came through. Oh my gosh, I wish we had like Rochelle Jarvis on here so she could tell her side of the story of just like how she handled the handoff and was able to get the seller to sign. Like, it was two separate sellers. She got it in. We freaking made history, and I couldn't have done it without the team.
I love it. I love it. And you know, some of the takeaways that I got from you, Manif, is the way that you ask the questions and you pause and you just let it hang out there, but you're saying it in such a tone that it feels very welcoming. It's not aggressive, it's not abrasive. It's something that, you know, people are really thinking and really wondering, because you asked open-ended questions. And what happens when you ask open-ended questions, if they're actually listening to you, they actually pause a little bit longer than normal. If they're not listening, they kind of blow you off. They kind of like whatever, and you're kind of dismissed. But you were asking it, and you're dropping it and opening up the conversation for them to either disqualify themselves or put themselves in a position to for you to lock them up. So it was great. RJ, I thought, listen, you went with the whole, you know, I watched my set. You were a lot softer this year when it came to, I mean, you were building a lot more rapport this year than you were last year when you were just Bulldog. Is that something that you learned over the last 14 months? That you can get a little bit more personal. You can throw a little bit more personality into it, and a little bit of like, you know, not so attack mode. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's that was a point of emphasis for me because am I choppy? Is my Wi-Fi choppy?
It's a little choppy.
Okay,
Yep.
hold on one second. Let me change my Wi-Fi real quick. Can you throw it to Munif real quick? Let me change my Wi-Fi real quick.
Yep. Yeah. So Munif, when you were going through all these different leads around, what, you know, as you're in the moment, what's going through your head? Are you just like literally just focusing on that call, that conversation? Are you focusing about everybody, the thousands of people watching you? Are you focusing on, I hope I don't, mess with my reputation here? Like, what was it?
I think that was the hardest part, because like when you're talking to a seller, it's about the seller. It's not about the property, it's not about the money, it's about the seller. And this was that like super amplified, because there's all this pressure and there's chats and comments and there's my team, you know, they're like comping stuff. And so, oh, hey, look at them. So it was the biggest challenge for me was like, hey man, like calm down, relax. This is about the seller and the seller situation. Focus on the seller and be a problem solver. And when I made it about that, I did a little bit better. And then when I let the voices in my head about like points and scoring and judges, when that like took over, I did a little bit worse, and it showed. You know what I mean? When I didn't make it about the seller, it really showed. So that was like a big takeaway I had from this weekend.
I love it. RJ, you're looking super clear.
Okay, good.
And I think Jamil Pace, I'm going to just start ripping and running. I want everybody in the comments, guys. You have full access to the top 2 closers in the country to ask some of those tough questions that you're dealing with. We need a lot of participation today from everybody. I want to know what objections you're stumbling with. I want to know where you're finding that you're just not as confident in the process as others. Remember, there's 3 parts of the business: lead generation, conversion, and then exit strategy. What these guys were doing all weekend long, we're working on improving and showing the conversion side of the business. So make sure, this is where a lot of people feel the most uncomfortable. This is where a lot of people that don't come from either a sales background or haven't had a lot of communication with a lot of different strangers and people, this is where you kind of clam up a little bit and really look for somebody to help you out here. So if that's you, which I think it's everybody, including myself, put it in the comments, put some questions out there so that so that you can get them answered and start implementing them in your business right now.
I'd like to start with a couple of questions right off the bat.
Get them, Jamil.
First and foremost, congratulations to both of you guys for an amazing show. Munif, you broke the internet. Look, RJ, honestly, I expected this shit. I expect, if you didn't win this, RJ, it was, you know, it like the world, the universe doesn't make sense, right? We all had our ideas of what happened last year. We're not going to go there. You deserved it. You've been, you know, cold calling every day for an entire year. You know, your batch TV, everything that you've been doing, right? You're incredible, and you deserve that win. Congratulations. Munif, you broke the internet because you came out of nowhere, right? And the people in sub 2, they all have known you. You've been running the Daily Dial with Carolyn, and you've been doing really well with that. So first and foremost, let's talk a little bit about mindset, right? How do you get into the right mindset to go up against these people that are tenured in the business? Because look, being able to talk to a seller is one thing, but being able to do that in a live audience against trained assassins that are there to defeat you and make you look bad, how did you keep your mind focused? How did you stay and maintain in competition readiness? And how did you just not get overwhelmed with that anxiety and the pressure?
So this is such an interesting question, Jamil. So I have one of the guys I'm working with in sub 2. He's his name is Ralph. He works for me. He does like my lead management, lead follow up, and he was like, Munif, how do I be a better closer? How can I talk to sellers? So I've mentored him. He works in my business. I've mentored him, and I've showed him a lot. And Ralph is in the comments right now. Ralph is actually a 7-time MMA champion. He's undefeated, right? So he does like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, mixed martial arts. And so I went to Ralph and I said, bro, you fought and you've won. What are the mindset things I need to be able to go in this so I can do my best and perform? And every single day, Ralph spent 30, 40, 50, an hour with me on the phone, just coaching me. Like, hey, bro, you're a champ. You already do this. You already stream on Twitch. It's just another Twitch stream. Be yourself. Be yourself. Be yourself. Be yourself. And it was just the mindset of being myself. And hey, this is what I already do. I've been preparing. I'm prepared for this. And that mindset conditioning was the number one thing that helped me get to where I got. So thank you, Ralph. Appreciate you. Love you, brother.
It's incredible, guys. I just want to point out to everybody that's watching right now that Munif, and he didn't talk about this. Did you talk about this on in the Closer Olympics? You talk about this with people? Have you even brought up to anybody the fact that you were doing an hour worth of mindset work a day?
No, I haven't. This is the first time I'm really talking about it and letting people know what's going on behind the scenes. It was an hour, sometimes an hour and a half. Ralph was texting me, and it was just mindset.
Incredible.
What do you do, Munif? Give us some instruct. What do you do for an hour? What do you do for 90 minutes? You know what I mean? Like, give us some tools.
So one is visualization. So like Ralph told me to like visualize before bed, visualize things going wrong and you getting out of it, right? So what he said is like before an MMA fight, he would visualize before bed, like him being in a bad position, someone getting him in a stranglehold and him just like being like, oh crap, everything's going wrong, but I got this. I believe myself. I'm going to get out of here. So he had me visualize before bed things going wrong and overcoming that. He had me visualize things going right and not getting too arrogant or cocky. He had me do breathing exercises and relax those smooth muscles where you carry tension in your body so you can just relax and keep yourself just engaged in what's going on, staying present. There's a lot of mindset stuff. I spent hours and hours with mindset training. RJ, is there something new?
Yeah, I wanted to add something to that. It's funny you brought this up. Cassie's saying hi.
Hey, Cassie.
Hi, Cassie.
It's funny you brought this up because I was actually this morning, I was thinking about today's live, and I wanted to say something to you about preparation, not to critique you, but just from one of the things as a competitor in an event, right, that I was watching you and I noticed something during the second day for you, the first day for us, you had that moment where you had to pee real bad, right?
Yeah.
And it was funny because it blew up the chat box. And they're like you weren't getting leads. It was like 9 p.m. Eastern time.
Yep.
And people were like, just let the man go take a piss. Like, come on, go, let him go, right? And the chat box is blowing up. And it was funny because I wanted to tell you what I do to prepare for stuff like this, all the way down to the point of I actually plan out when I'm going to use the restroom, when I'm going to eat, all of that to make sure I never run into a moment where I'm uncomfortable during a competition or during a presentation or something along those lines. And I know that this is a new experience for you. And so you're a rising star. I literally told my team today, I was like, this dude's going to be a YouTube star. He's got the smooth voice. And I was actually mimicking you in the office earlier. So just from my perspective, like to you is like, hey, the fact that you're taking that hour a day in preparation on the mindset side of things, also think about on game day, what does that look like from a preparation standpoint on making sure that there's nothing that will ever interfere with your performance? So much so that I allow several hours of time where there's only certain people that have access to me, where they can't impact my mindset and the feelings that I have going into it. So for the final day, my son played in a championship game at 12 p.m. And after the game, they lost 6-2. One of the dads who I just spent 5 days with passed out and was rushed out of the arena in an ambulance. And it impacted me because I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. This boy, this 8-year-old, is on the ice receiving his second place medal. And I'm watching the dad be strolled out with his whole body covered in an ambulance. And we're trying to figure out as other parents how we're going to talk to this kid that his dad that he's alone with in Cleveland, Ohio, is now in the hospital. He's going to have to fly on a plane with us, and his dad's going to be okay. That impacted my mind. And I'm not going to lie, I had to go back. I watched your last 30 minutes. I watched Max's full hour, and I had no nerves going into it because I realized life is so much more important than anything that's going to happen during this. But I had also planned out there was going to be 2 hours where the only person that had access to me was my partner and best friend, Elijah De La Garza. There was no one else that was going to have access to me. So just to you, as somebody that's going to be involved in a lot more things and moving forward in the future, think about that as a performer, because that's literally what we were doing yesterday, right?
Yes,
we were
absolutely.
performing,
Mhm.
we were representing this industry, and I thought you did a great job doing that.
Thank you. And I want to note two things about what you said. One is you can always critique me anytime. It is my highest honor to receive criticism from you. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. You are a champion. Absolutely a champion. Number two, RJ, like I got goosebumps. Like I have the hairs on my arm are standing up from what you just said about like you plan when you eat, you plan when you drink water. You know you're gonna have to have bathroom breaks, and that is the psychology and mindset of a winner. Just from that sentence alone, if I didn't know you, right? If I didn't know about your skills or I haven't seen you, just from that, I would know you'd win. Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate that, because the whole thing is what Brent asked me earlier. I've been thinking about this for 18 months, right? I mean, this is something that I wanted. Like this shirt right here, I made this shirt a day after last year's Crucible, last year's Closers Olympics. There's base 316 and hashtag People's Champ. This was my credence to myself. I wore these like TTP shirts, okay? And this is something that I wanted. And so going into this, the only hiccup that came up was when my son made the Texas Tigers. They announced November 4th, 5th, and 6th and 7th, we're going to be in Cleveland, Ohio for a travel tournament. I have a non-negotiable. I'm not missing my son's hockey games. So I immediately, at the celebration of my son making the travel hockey team, I call Elijah Rubin and I'm like, reschedule the Closers Olympics, bro. Please, please, please. And he's like, it ain't happening, brother. So that was the only hiccup. But I literally the whole year and a half, I've been thinking about that moment. And I just made sure there wasn't going to be anything that got in my way of performing at maximum capacity.
You manifested that, brother. You totally manifested that win.
I like how you had your own YouTube channel on behind you. while you were making calls. I mean,
You like that?
if anybody wanted to see what you've been up to the last 18 months, you were showing them like behind. You were in a hotel room, is that right?
I was in a hotel room. Yeah.
So what did you do? You
We
brought
made
like
it look like
you brought
a
a
Brent
light.
Daniels
You turned off
studio.
all the, huh?
We made it look like a Brent Daniels studio.
It looked amazing. Listen, and this is just for anybody for the next events or whatever else. If you like put yourself, you build your little space where you feel unstoppable, I'm telling you, it's going to affect your performance. And that's also in real life. I always had a prospecting cockpit. You know, it had everything on there that I needed, any objection handlers, script, you know, kind of vision boardy type things, nothing too crazy, but it made me feel more powerful when I was making the calls. It made me feel more comfortable. And I think just switching your environment sometimes, it just helps to clear your mind and focus you in on what you need to do for that next 30-minute, hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, depends on how long you're going after and generating leads or doing lead follow-up. But I think that it's really important to like set a space where you're going to be productive. And
let me tell you,
people try to do it from their kitchen tables.
Let me tell you my setup on this, because I feel like this is important for people to understand. I know I saw some behind the scenes photos of other people's setups. Munif, I kept seeing you look up, so I'm assuming you had like stacked monitors, right?
Yep.
My setup here when I do batch TV and the lives is I have multiple monitors right here, right? All I could do was we had Elijah's supercharged high-powered laptop, right? And so I didn't have multiple screens, and I chose against going and buying them there in Cleveland. I said, look, we're going to bootstrap this. Like, this is the old days, okay? So what I had was I had the StreamYard link on the far left tab, okay? I had Mojo Dialer on the far right tab. In between there, I was logged into Propelio for comps, Batch Leads for comps, PropStream for comps. I had my Google Doc contract uploaded, everything deleted. I had 7 fill in the blanks, okay? And then I had DocuSign already logged in, so I was ready to go. That was my setup and the preparation of what I needed. There wasn't anything else that I could possibly need to be able to do a deal. And so simplifying it down to that actually helped me, because there wasn't too much going on. And I saw you at times where, especially in the finals, where you were like here, and it was funny because I got to watch you, and it was like, okay, don't do what he's doing right now, right? Keep it simple. And it was like I was coaching myself on what I was seeing from you guys, and it was awesome to be able to do that, because I felt like my final day was a lot better than my first day because I didn't get to watch anybody. I jumped on and Nick Perry had 7 minutes left, and I was like, holy cow, I'm about to go. You know, I got to get on. But I got a good hour and a half of watching you and Max, and that was just a couple of my takeaways there for you. Especially you had mentioned, you know, that comping was something that you don't feel super strong in. I mean, you've been in this for 7 months. I mean, nobody that's been in something for 7 months feels super strong about comping, right? But I thought you did a really good job from the aspect of communicating back and forth with the judges about like, hey, do we have comps? What's my MAO? What can I do here? And use them as a resource. I thought that was super intelligent of you. And honestly, man, I was blown away by your performance.
Thank you so much, dude. It means so much to me, especially coming from you. I look up to you, man. So.
Let's get to one of these. Let's get to one of these questions, because I think that there's a lot of skills on display. There was a lot of the way that you guys use your strengths to get right to it, to either figure out if this is going to be a wholesale deal or if this is going to be a creative deal. But what do you guys do to sharpen your skills? Is it just reps? Are you just doing reps with real sellers? Is that it? Are you guys, you know, going through some sort of like flashcards or something? Like, what do you guys do to sharpen your skills?
You guys might think I'm crazy, but I like visualize role plays in my head and then say my responses out loud all the time. Like in the shower, like when I'm driving, when I'm alone, I just like have situations where it's like my worst case scenario situation, like a seller like cussing me out or something. Just like the worst thing can happen. I'm like, oh crap, what do I do if they do this? And I just like practice as if it really happened in the moment. And I do that a lot. And I tell people, I'm like, hey, just like there are lines you want to master, you got to say them out loud. Like you can say them to people, or you can role play, or you can just be by yourself and just say your lines out loud so you can deliver them as you normally would when you're talking to anybody.
So as Brent, you've watched me for 2 years now do this. I'm the non-script guy, right?
Yep.
I want to be very fluid. So to Manif's point, I am very big on visualizing the different outcomes. I do this whether it's I'm going to play in a hockey game that night, my son's going to play in a hockey game, or in this case, closing a deal, right? But I also very strongly believe in our words have an impact on the outcome of things, right? A lot of people know me as the guy that talks a lot of trash, but that's my way of basically speaking into existence what's going to happen. Like when I made that post about the Vegas odds and me being a 1-2 favorite, that was me saying I am viewing this as I'm the favorite in this event, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to win. And then when you watch the press conference, you watch my live with Aaron, you watch anything that I said about the Closers Olympics, I said one thing on repeat. You are going to have to get a signed contract to win the Closers Olympics. And I kept repeating that over and over and over again because that was my way of saying, this is what's going to happen when I go. That's what's going to happen. And so when I was calling and when you see that was me breeding confidence in myself. I wasn't nervous. I was literally saying, I've been saying this for a long time, that I'm getting a contract right now. So much so that when the leads were coming up, I was like, this is the one right here. This is the one I want. Yeah. I'm going to make this one go down. And I think that's a huge mindset trick of yourself to really relax yourself and say, just go out there and perform, right?
Yeah, but how'd you get so good, RJ? Like, is it practicing? Is it experience? Is it doing it live, forcing yourself to do this live in every single state you're not meeting any of these sellers. It's not like you can build the rapport face to face. This is all your voice over this thing, right? So right. How did you get so good?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I look at closing sellers very much like anything else I've ever wanted in my life. You use your mouth to get what you want, right? So I don't look at it as I need to understand how to build rapport and how to overcome objections. I don't look at it that way. I don't go into it and say, I need to go negative at this point and I need to have the specific catchphrase. I don't need to say, did I catch you at a bad time? Instead of, I said that sometimes, and then you heard me on the last one. I said, I know I caught you at a good time. I'm speaking it into existence. Yep. Like, that's why it's our catchphrase. We literally say, create your own reality. That's me saying, I know I caught you at a good time and you're ready to sell your house right now and I'm ready to buy it. And so I look at it as just like anything else I've ever wanted. Elijah and I were talking about this on our drive from Columbus to Cleveland, where I said, since we were kids, anything we ever wanted in our lives, we got by the words that we spoke. That's it. And it's no different when you buy a house. You just don't have to, excuse my language, but you don't have to mind fuck yourself and think about the fact that you're buying a house. It's just talking to a human being and telling them, do you want to sell your house? I want to buy your house. Let's have a conversation about it and see if we can come to terms here. And at that point in time, how did I get really good at it? Well, Munif, joining a program like Sub 2 and you're learning how to do Subject 2 and novations and seller finance and all that, that's a tool in your tool belt that will help you close more deals. But I think just going into the mindset of being able to talk to a human being like they're a human being and solving their problem, that's how you get really good at this.
I love it. Yeah, that's, I tell everybody, I've been telling it for 4 years, you need to talk to at least 1,000 property owners before you hire anybody. And I truly believe that because it's a skill that stays with you forever. You always have that skill. It's always inside you. You always have a different kind of confidence, a different kind of energy than other people that, kind of want to hide behind, hiring a VA right off the bat, or hide behind text blasting, or hide behind this and that. At some point, you're going to have to get somebody on the phone, and you're going to have to have a good conversation with them, pre-qualify them, stay in front of them, and then convert them to a signed agreement. I mean, that's the business. So, how fast do you want to go? You want to go fast? Talk to more people. Am I right, RJ?
Yep. Yeah.
Right.
Can I answer this question? Because Chris has asked it multiple times. This Chris McLovin, I'd love to answer this because I love answering this question. And this is just my opinion. Okay. Brent will be a testament to this. I literally told the person that signed the contract, I'm in a competition and I need to have a signed contract by 4 p.m. Will you go find your husband so he can read the contract and sign it?
I think you said I made a promise to myself.
Yeah. You can never go wrong with telling the truth. It's what you're supposed to do. So when a seller asks if you're the end buyer or about the assignment part of the purchase contract, tell them the truth.
I love it. There you go. It's perfect. No, but it comes with the confidence. It comes with being able to say that and say it in a way that doesn't make it seem like you're opening up. I think that we throw in words that we don't need to, like, oh, are you do you want me to be the buyer? Like, I can be, but usually I don't. And just be confident with it. No, I'm not the buyer. I don't buy properties in this area, but I work with a lot of people that do. I'd love to work with you on this deal. Does that sound okay?
I literally told my seller yesterday that Max Maxwell was my buyer.
I know. I love it. Well, let me ask, I want to touch on this real quick, Munif. You said you do Twitch?
Yeah.
Talk to me about that, because I feel like this is like a secret little skill building session that you can do and also have fun. So talk to me about this. Are you talking on Twitch the whole time?
Yeah. So Twitch, like before real estate, my biggest hobby was video games. Like I was a big computer gamer, and I always wanted to stream video games on Twitch. But then I found my passion, which is real estate, and I was actually on a Q&A with Pace, and I was like, hey, Pace, how can I become a better closer? How can I get better? And he recommended that I bring people to my buy appointments. And if you have people watching you, you're going to perform, you're going to do your best. And it was like during COVID, and I'm doing everything virtually. So I was like, what if I stream? And he's like, go ahead and stream. Go stream it and call your stream the takeaway. So you share a key takeaway at the end of every seller call. And he said that people would get a lot of value watching somebody very new like me, who's getting hung up on, who I don't have full confidence in every call, right? Like there's a lot of calls I lose confidence. Like a couple weeks ago, there was a call where the seller was like, you upset me. Why did you do this? And it was like really embarrassing and it sucked. But people can relate with that because like a lot of people getting started, they have those embarrassing calls. So I stream on Twitch and I set like an hour, 2 hours, sometimes 4 hours a day, where I just call sellers back to back on Twitch for everyone to maybe get some value from.
Munif, what's your Twitch account? You're about to get 1,000 new subscribers.
It is www.twitch.tv/the_takeaway. Here, I'll put it in the chat here.
You can put it in? Yeah, perfect. I'm trying to follow along, but I'm a terrible typer.
Munif,
how's that? How's it going on over there? I mean, what you got? A couple hundred people hanging out. What are you doing?
Me?
Jamil.
We're at a meet and greet out here in Orlando. There's like 100 people in the house. Pace is moving around, talking to students, and I'm here on the hotline, here to celebrate our two amazing champions.
Yeah, it was incredible judging it, Jamil. It was, I'll tell you what. These guys are obviously first and second place. Max showed out as well. Max Jimenez really showed out. I mean, he had some incredible skills, great conversations, did a great job, but, he ran into some buzzsaws. So, it happens sometimes.
Hey, Munif, I wanted to tell you about what you were just saying about on your Twitch channel, where sometimes you have embarrassing calls.
Yeah.
I have gotten feedback from the 50 that I did, Batch TV, that sometimes the bad calls that I have are the ones that make more impact for the people watching than the ones that go perfectly smooth. Because not only about what happens, but it's the reaction to what happened there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I have moments where it's literally like, why did I just do that?
Yeah.
This is what I should have done. And then I'm coaching myself because we have a microphone and we have a camera and we have a willing audience that wants to learn from us. It's important for, if you're going to coach yourself up here and they're watching you, you just coach yourself out loud and they eat it up, man. And that's what I've always done in that regard. And I think people love that raw authenticity. That's the point in going live, right?
Yep.
Is the fact they're going to see the good, bad, and the ugly,
Yep.
right? And so don't ever beat yourself up over a bad call, okay?
Thank you.
Because those bad calls are the ones that probably make the most impact for the people that are watching.
Well, and listen, you know, it was really interesting watching. You're not going to convert all these deals. And by the way, these leads aren't some of those leads that you didn't want those deals. I mean, they just weren't going to be deals either way. So it's not like a closer closes everybody. A closer closes the people that they can close. I mean, that's what it is. They just do it over and over and they do it more. So it's really about finding it. Can I provide this human being any value by what I can offer them over the phone right now or in person or whatever else? You know what I mean? It's not like it's not, you know, changing people's mind and getting them, you know, to go with whatever you say by mesmerizing them by your words. No, it's the same thing about the whole, you know, sell me this pen type of thing. Well, how long have you been in the market to buy a pen? I'm not. Okay, great. Go find somebody that is. That's the whole point. Close the people that are ready to sell their property at a price that makes sense to you. We don't have to go in and get wins by just locking up deals that make no sense that we have to cancel later or can't make anything on it and we have to try to work something out. So, I mean, I think that that's really what's important. People are seeing you guys have 5, 6, 10 conversations and close one deal. You know what I mean? But that one deal could be 10, 20, 30, $40,000. You know what I mean? Deal finders, not deal creators. For sure.
I want to ask a question about the whole process, and forgive me, guys, if you already went through this and if it's redundant. But obviously, you're taping yourself, you're watching yourself. Are you gaining more insights from watching you or from watching other people do this?
Ooh. RJ, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, I'm just gonna be real. I don't watch anybody else. I don't watch anybody close deals. I don't listen to podcasts. I don't watch anybody else's YouTube channel. I want to stay laser focused on what I'm doing. And I feel like shiny object syndrome over here of what somebody else is doing can really take away what my core strategy is on everything is being real and raw and being RJ. And so if I try to go be Pace Morby, I'm going to suck real bad. Like I'm not, it's funny. Jesse Burrell asked me, he's like, can you have a little bit more enthusiasm when you come on live with Batch TV? And I was like, what do you mean?
Of course he did.
You want me to be like, welcome to Batch TV. I'm Brent Daniels. I'm not.
Oh my God.
I'm not that guy. So I have to be real and I have to be authentic. And in order to do that, I have to find in myself what gives me confidence and who I really am. And I don't get that from watching other people. So I would have to say I do, however, watch myself on video with the sound off. Okay. And the reason why I do that with sound off is because I'm paying attention to my body language. I'm paying attention to my facial expressions, because I think that I can watch that and know how the live's going or how the call's going, because that tells me more than the words that are coming out of my mouth. And so I'm very cognizant of that when I'm watching myself on video.
Incredible.
And there was a question about the legality of twitching and or live streaming calls or whatever else. I don't know. Talk to an attorney. I think that, to be safe, to say a first name and the address, just the name of the address. You don't have to get too crazy. I
Munif, is this the correct Twitch account?
That is the correct Twitch account. Yes.
Okay.
Love it. So, Munif, talk to me. Are you doing all sorts of deals? Are you just focusing on sub 2? Are you doing this full time? Like, give me a little bit more background on you.
So, I'm not doing real estate full time. I have a cybersecurity job.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm a W-2. I have a 9 to 5. It's cybersecurity. I get to work from home, so I'm very lucky. So in between stuff and doing tickets, I'm calling sellers, I'm streaming, and something that might interest you guys is like 99% of my deals are cash deals. Like they're cash, right? Like, and the reason is, most of this like 6-7 months I've been in sub 2. They told me, Caroline, Brent, Caroline, she coached me. She was like, Manif, don't get shiny object syndrome. Like, get good at talking to sellers. Like, cash is easy. Practice your cash game. And she does the daily dial, and a lot of the other people in the daily dial, a lot of the mentors like Keston and Oscar, they're like, hey, just work on your cash game, get really, really good at cash, and then you can start adding tools in your tool belt. And so like these other tools like Creative Finance, they're tools so you can convert more people. But when you're still learning how to convert people, like, stick to the basics.
Love it. RJ, there's a question about how you train your team. I thought this was great. And I'm gonna just pepper this, Jamil, if you don't mind. I think that the audience is getting a tremendous amount of value out of these two when it comes to closing this. But this is a great question because it's like one of those things. You might be Michael Jordan on the field, on the court, right? But then a terrible coach type of thing.
Yep.
I know that you're not, but people are wondering how you expand your business and how do you expand your wealth of knowledge and your skills to your team.
It's so funny that this question comes up because I literally had a conversation with one of my guys today. I was listening to him, and I mean this in no disrespect to anybody, but it was a blend of Max Jimenez, okay, where he was doing a lot of the Sandler negative takeaway, the Chris Voss, right, John Martinez.
Yep.
And I asked him, I said, did you go, because he previously owned his own business. Now he's doing acquisitions for me, right? I headhunted. I got him, right? I wanted him on my team. And I'm like, did you do John Martinez's training previously? He's like, yeah, I love John. I'm like, I love John too. He's a great friend of mine. But here at Titanium, I don't want you to be John Martinez. I want you to be you.
Yep.
And I don't want you to be me, okay? Because there's only one me and there's only one you, okay? And what we want is real, authentic human interaction without the mind games, okay? Mm-hmm. That's what I want.
I love that.
I want you to have a real conversation. And people always say, RJ does it backwards, right? He asks for the price real early and then tries to build the rapport. That's how I know how to get what I want. Like, that's the reason why I'm doing that. I'm doing that because I want to sit there and say, would you like to sell your house? Yes. Cool. How much do you want for it? $150,000. All right, let's have a conversation now. That's me. Yep. You don't have to have to be a part of my team. You don't have to do it the same way. Now, there's going to be times where I'm going to be like, hey, no, we don't do that. Okay. There's bad things you can do, but I want you to be as close as possible to yourself. I think anybody here that's watching this does not need to try to mimic me or Max or Munif or anybody else in the Closers Olympics. You should take aspects of what we each did and put that as a tool in your tool belt and be yourself and use those tools when they come up. How I overcame the objection of, hey, I don't want to sign this right now. I'm going to be honest with you, and this is not picking on Steven at all. Steven Morales, in my opinion, I thought should have been in the finals this year and last year, okay? He should have been in this year because he had one objection to overcome. And it was the same one that I overcame to get it, which was the seller said, can I look at this contract? It's a 1-page contract. He literally says, there's not a whole lot written down here, but can I look at this and sleep on it? And then you call me tomorrow. If he had overcome that objection, he beats Munif and he makes it in the finals. But his response was, yeah, I'll call you in the morning. That is a takeaway from the Closers Olympics where you say, here's what cost Steven in a competition. Here's what won RJ the competition. That's what you should be taking away, not trying to mimic it and sound just like me, or for the love of God, try to sound like Pace Morby and Munif because they're the same person. I swear you. That's why Pace isn't on camera, because you're actually Pace. But that you should.
There are so many people saying that Munif was wearing an earpiece.
I can assure you guys he wasn't. Pace was with me in Orlando. We were at Disneyland, and he had nothing to do with anything Munif had to say.
This is a great question here, guys. Justin's been patient with us. Kind of 3 action items that you can take to get a first deal. He's been kind of in that information phase. And, great supporter here, great supporter of the other live shows, Justin. I'll let these guys tackle it, and I'll see if I can add my little spin as well. What do you think?
For me, it was, I'll tell you what helped me, which was squatting up. When I started, I tried doing real estate as like a side hustle for 2 years. In those 2 years, I talked to maybe 8 sellers. So I didn't know that you had to talk to people. I wasn't watching your podcast, Brent. And so when I joined Sub 2, I started doing the daily dial. I started role playing a lot. But in between that, I knew how to lead generate. I worked with another Sub 2 student. We squatted up. We went after these leads together, and he actually closed the deal. And then we found somebody else to dispo, and we split it 3 ways. So like squatting up showed me that proof of concept. And then that gave me the confidence to keep trying. Like, okay, this is real. This is real. Like, we can do this. Just got to stay consistent.
Yeah.
So I would say squat up.
Love it. RJ?
All right. I have a very specific answer to this. I'm going to give you step by step what you need to do. Okay. Number 1, develop your headshot concept. What is it? Are you going to be a nationwide virtual wholesaler? Are you going to wholesale locally? Are you going to flip? Are you going to be a landlord? You're going to do sub 2s? You're going to be novation agreements? What is it that you're going to do? For me, it's a nationwide virtual wholesaler. Okay. That's my headshot concept. Second.
What do you call that real quick, RJ? What do you call that?
That's hedgehog concept. Hedgehog.
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 Yep.
Straight from good to great from Jim Collins.
I got it. Yep.
Very mediocre book, but that was my takeaway. Okay. Now, after that, stop searching for unicorns. What I mean by that is you find your systems. Okay. What is your system? For me, it starts with batch leads. I use batch leads, batch dialer, batch driven, Propelio, prop stream. That's it. Boom. I have my systems. Now you develop your processes on how to use those systems around those systems. Okay. So for us, we have our initial text that we send, the quick replies. We have our cold calling scripts. We have the way that we pull comps. Those are our processes. Okay. That we build around those. That I call that focus your habits. Okay. So our habits become the processes that we do every single day. Okay. After that, it's consistent as a tree. So literally there's nothing more consistent than a tree. It just grows. Okay. And then after that, you create your own reality. That's straight right there. This is like the first 2 hours of my education program right there. I just gave you guys. Okay. Those 5 steps, if you could do that, when you just sit there, you're having a problem with taking action. It's because you don't have the plan in front of you. When you sit there and you say, I'm going to be a wholesaler, I'm going to pull my list at batch leads, I'm going to skip trace on my batch leads, I'm going to text them at batch leads, then I'm going to cold call my batch dialer, and these are the texts I'm going to use, these are the quick replies, this is the cold calling script, and then you do it every single day on repeat consistently. That's how you create your own reality, and it's over with.
I love it. It's clarity and discipline. You know what I mean? That's and that's the definition of posture, really, not like standing posture, but just a mental posture is clarity and discipline. Those are the two things. And if you mix in, and I couldn't agree more, like, you got to be around people that do this business. You have to be around people. If that means that you have to get on social media and start and just start like talking about what your day is going, what you're doing that day, or you literally start a YouTube channel right now, My Journey Becoming a Real Estate Investor, and really push it, watch what happens. What you become a magnet when you get loud. And if you want, and it's going to bring around people that do this business and do it really well. And when you're around millionaires, you become a millionaire. That's just how it goes. If you're around somebody just starting out, but you're hustling and you guys are getting your first deals and celebrating that, that's what that builds the momentum. That keeps all those demons out of your head from, like, stopping you and pulling you back and giving you negative thoughts that you can't do this. And your faith is not, it's shaking type of thing, right? It's clarity and discipline and squat up. Have that good, strong mental posture. You can't lose. You really can't.
I wanna just interject here for a moment, because I think both of you guys gave incredible answers to that. But I feel like I want to peel it back one layer, because in order to develop your hedgehog concept, which I believe is incredibly valuable and is definitely a step, in my opinion, the step 2. I think before that, because I think what's happening for our watcher right now is this is still really muddy. And RJ, you look, I've known you for years now. And the one thing that I can say from you, people don't realize this. Nobody knows this. I'm going to share a little story about RJ and me. I tried to land RJ as a client for 2 years. For 2 years, I tried to get RJ's business. I would call him, voicemail. Look, he would not talk to me. He wouldn't talk to anybody in my team. He was so focused on what he was doing in his business and in his life. He had no time for me, even though I was doing the things I was doing. It wasn't until I was literally hand-delivered to him, hand-referred him by a mutual friend, a guy that we both call brother, Cuthberto. Mm-hmm. When Beto said to RJ, Jamil's good shit, RJ was interested in having a conversation, right? Yeah. So let me just frame this for everybody that's watching. I know RJ a long time, and he's a legitimate assassin in this business. Dude, you're incredible. But you start, there's a step 1A, and it's a step 1A for you too, Munif, and it's what are you doing in the morning to get this right? How are you clearing the mud? What are you doing to stop that inactivity, that lethargy, that subconscious block of, if I do this, I'm going to shatter my safety? Could either of you expand?
RG, you want
to? Yeah. I'll talk about one of the things that my partner Elijah is super big on and implemented within our company and for all of our students is we have vision boards, and they have to have 300 items on them. And 300 items is a lot. Like, you get to about 25, 30, and you're like, what's really important in my life, right? And I now know exactly what it is that I want in my life, and I know how I want my reality to look like. And so when I wake up in the morning, I think about those items, and then I put myself into a routine where I'm a habitual person. So much so it's a negative aspect of my life. Like, Cassie and Elijah at times are like, hey, bro, we need to rearrange the office. And I'm like, whoa, what are we doing? No, hold on. Why did you touch the Viking helmet? Move it over there. It was over here. Like, I'm that kind of a weirdo, right? But having that habit makes me feel comfortable. And that's what allows me to stay focused on those the step 1 through 5. But that was very insightful of you, Jamil, because you're right. That is what has allowed 2018, 2019, RJ didn't have that clarity. I was seeking it. And failure is what made me eventually find it because I realized I was messing up a lot of things. And then I finally was able to sit down and say, this is what I'm going to do because this is what's important to me moving forward in my life.
God bless you, brother. That was fantastic. Thank you.
Love that.
Munif.
So, well, one key takeaway I learned from this, RJ, you taught me create your own reality. I freaking love that, brother. That you are a testament to that. That is amazing. For me, I write. I write my goals. I write my goals. I write. And one thing I started doing recently is I do visualization of my goals on my phone screen background. So I'm always looking at it. And specifically for the Closers Olympics, from when I did the open run, the open tryouts, and I actually made it, and I was like, holy crap, this is happening. I actually texted Pace. I said, Pace, what do I got to do to win this thing? I've never done anything before like this in my life. I've never done sports. I never did, like, this was my first competition in my life. I've never done anything like this. So I have no idea what it's like to actually place, because that's just, I'm 5'2", weigh like 130 pounds. I'm scrawny. I've never done sports. So Pace told me exactly what to do. He's like, for the next 2 weeks, I want you to do this. And I screenshotted it. And I made that. And so I couldn't look at my phone without seeing exactly what Pace told me to do. And he said, that's all I want you to do. And so I built my life around that for these 2 weeks. And if anyone out there who knows me, you know, it's true. I'm like, I didn't take calls. I didn't hang out with friends. Like, I just focused on what I wanted. And that level of focus was scary because I didn't know I had that in me. Like, I had no idea I could do that, or I had that in me. And if I can do it, everyone can do it. I was like, if you guys saw my first seller role play 6 months ago, I hung up on a seller role play because I was too nervous. I'm not kidding. There are people in the comments that saw that role play. It was on the Daily Dial. There were like 40 people watching. I raised my hand. I went up on a role play. I was so nervous. I was like, okay, bye. Hung up the phone. They're like, Munif, good job, but we can't hang up on the sellers. Like, you have to ask, you have to talk. You're here to buy their house. So visualizing and writing your goals.
Hey, Munif, here's the notepads that are currently sitting on my desk of all the things that I've written down probably in the past 2 weeks. So
wow,
writing things down is pretty important, Bubba.
All the time. Yep. I love it. Well, so Munif, you're telling us that just a few months ago you couldn't do a role play, and then through visualization, support from your coach, support from your whole community, really.
Yes.
And a lot of mental work, you got second in the country out of a lot of killers. And no joke, Alejandra's sitting right here. And we were watching you day one, and she was like, oh, no, he is crushing this right now. Who is this guy? He is so good. And she doesn't compliment anybody. She's never told me.
Thank you.
Munif, do you realize what you did?
I think on some level I do, but on some level I don't.
I'm gonna be real with you.
Okay.
18 months, there has not been a day that has gone by that someone has not reached out to me via social media, phone call, or in person and talked to me about the 2020 Closers Olympics.
Wow.
Okay. I have no idea what's going to happen to my life now that I actually won the thing. Because I'm pretty sure I finished somewhere in the range of 4th to 6th last year based off of the scoring. Some would argue I defended my crown this year, but that's neither here nor there. But for what you did and coming in with, first of all, the community that you have behind you. I had no community last year behind me. Okay. I had people texting me saying, holy crap, this new kid is about to destroy you.
Oh,
Munif is about to kill you. I'm like, I made the little meme about the odds, and people were giving me crap because you were not on it. And I was like, I don't even know who this guy is. He's in it? What? I didn't even know he was participating. And then all of a sudden it's like 5 days later, I'm watching you and people are like, he got a signed contract and 2 verbals in 30 minutes. I mean, dude, I'm letting you know what you did was such a huge thing for our industry, because I know a lot of people got crap for last year because we never actually got signed contracts. We only got verbal agreements.
Mm-hmm.
You and I got signed contracts.
Yeah, brother.
That's why we're sitting here now as first and second, because that's what we do. We buy houses, and you can only buy a house if you get a signed contract. And so I'm so proud of you as a part of this industry, because I said it in the press conference, like, hey, guys, the industry is watching us. Like, it is our obligation to go out there. Otherwise, sit down. I don't care if you're a good marketer and you have Instagram followers or YouTube followers. Like, we have to go out there and put on a show. And you did that. And you did that with competitors with a lot more experience and a lot more under their belt. But none of that matters except for the results. And you went out there and you got results, Bubba. And you should be extremely proud of yourself.
Thank you.
Can I just interject for a moment and explain what I'm seeing described here, guys? So we have RJ. How long have you been in the business, RJ?
I've been an entrepreneur for over a decade, and I've been doing this since 2014.
Since 2014, he's been doing this, he's amazing. He's technical. He's absolutely laser focused. He knows what he wants. He knew he was the best last year, and he came and proved it this year. So he had a chip on his shoulder. He had all the things, right? RJ is a giant. He's Goliath. Okay? He's Goliath. Now look, guys, this isn't a David beats Goliath story, because we all know Goliath won this. But what did we show? We showed that a 5'2" guy who has just started cold calling 5 months ago and hung up on a role play call, with the use of squatting up, with the use of his community, with the use of his accountability, turned himself into a giant. He turned himself into a giant. Guys, if this isn't right here a testimony to how important being in a community is, I don't know what is.
Jamil, this is classic. This is classic squatting up, because we're on that. I just got a text from Christopher, one of my TTP guys. He says, I'm JVing with an Astro student here in the Bay Area. Do I have your permission to share the TTP cold calling script, or is that against policy? I'm like, come on, man. Like, of course, like, that's what it's about. I'm telling you, this whole show, we've done 90 episodes with one core mission, and that's for more people to squat up, more people to get the support. I mean, RJ, how did it feel this year with so many people saying that you were robbed last year, and here you go? They've been chomping at the bit, a lot of supporters. And listen, you talk a lot of shit, so you're going to get some shit back. People are going to have fun. You thrive on that anyway, in some sense. I'm sure it's kind of annoying in others. But how was it feeling this time coming in with that much support and people like really pushing for you to win it this year?
It's a really good question, man. To be honest with you, it felt really good because, damn it, Munif, why'd you have to cry, man? You ain't gonna make me all emotional.
You made me cry, dude. But, when you said I'm proud of you, I like, dude, that got me, man. Thank you.
I know what I have inside me, and I know what I can add to this industry, and it has always felt like I was somewhat of the underappreciated person in this industry. And it was like, I felt like last year was my opportunity to have something go right for me that was really going to springboard things, and it didn't happen. But what it did is it made me go out of my comfort zone and do more for the industry. It made me say, what can I do that is going to add more value? It's my job to add more value. And so I did that. And I told Cassie yesterday, I have never been more confident in my life in anything that I'm about to do than this finals. That's where I was. And it was because I was watching the feedback from the people, and I knew that this was going to happen. And it felt great to see I mean, honestly, I actually felt like the favorite, which was odd because legitimately I felt like I was the lowest underdog last year. Brent, would you not agree?
Yep. Yep.
And it was crazy to see. Like, I mean, it felt very much like I was the favorite, and that was a huge shift. And it's the first time ever in this industry I felt like I was earning the respect of people, not based off of my ability to grow an Instagram or a YouTube channel or anything like that, but based off of my actual work that I had done. And it was an amazing feeling. I didn't even know what to say when they brought it up and they said, "How does it feel?" I didn't even know what to say. I literally was speechless.
I love it. Munif, how about you? I mean, you had a lot of people pulling for you in that sub-2 family. That's a big swarm of people that were supporting you. And, you know, I mean, there was a couple of you guys in there, but you were the one that got out. You were the one that was able to lock up the deals and move forward. So how'd that feel?
I never felt alone.
Right.
When I was on the screen, I could feel everybody. They had like a watch party. There was like a virtual watch party. Like I could feel their energy, man. Like I didn't feel alone for a single second during the Closers Olympics. So man, it was so humbling. I'm so grateful for this experience.
You know what's crazy about that, Munif, is this wasn't just for me. But Andrea Stakes is like a part of the Titanium family, and she runs Integria Virtual Assistants, and they were the VAs that were cold calling for us. She comes to every single one of our Crucible events here at our office. She's like a part of our family, right? She said Saturday and Sunday, there were over 30 VAs in the Philippines that off the clock chose to watch the Closers Olympics because they wanted to know what happened. And she was just like, it was unbelievable to see. Dude, we had over 30 people in the Philippines choosing to watch us do this. I mean, it's insane to think about.
Yeah.
Looks like these guys are having fun out in Orlando.
Congratulations. Everybody tell me. We love you, sir. We love you.
That's awesome.
It.
All here, this party right here. All right, love you, brother. Hey guys, everybody give RJ Bates champion.
Love you guys.
Look at that. How about
That's
that?
awesome.
I'll tell you what, this is going to be a weird podcast for somebody to listen to.
For real. Some people were saying this is the most emotional wholesale hotline of all time.
Yeah, good. I love it. I mean, that's how it should be. Listen, this is an exciting business. This is a fast-paced action. And by the way, the reason why it's emotional, the reason why it's so exciting, the reason why there's so much energy is there's not a lot of people that is that a picture of Munif on that shirt? Yes.
Oh my gosh.
You're a
You guys are
t-shirt now.
crazy.
That's awesome.
You guys are freaking crazy.
Hold on, let me unmute this. Oh, they have it on their end. Anyway. Oh, there they are. That's awesome. Sorry, you were muted there. Bring it back in, Jamil.
I want to say, put that on your vision board, Munif.
Oh my gosh.
Put that on your vision board, my brother.
Oh my God. I love you guys. You guys
That's
are
awesome.
so amazing.
That's awesome.
Anyway, we have different brains. It's just a fact. To be an entrepreneur, you have to have a different brain. To be a real estate entrepreneur, you have to have a different brain. And that's why it's so exciting. That's why we should all celebrate everybody's success, and really support each other and really squat up. And there's too many deals. There's too many deals. If RJ can go on live on YouTube every single week and get deals in new markets that he's never been to, everybody can do this. Absolutely everybody can do this. So take confidence in this. Take the skills that they're putting out there, but really it starts with having that confidence. It really starts, like Jamil was saying, just how do you wake up? How do you start your day? How are you getting this thing going? Are you believing? Or do you have that faith? Are you pushing? Are you taking the action? Are you surrounding yourself with people that are also doing all of those things? That's the key. That is the key. And I think that you guys create that in your own business. And if you're going to grow your business and be that magnet in your office, in your company, just like RJ is. Well, really Cassie is, but RJ's like second, So. Yeah, you guys have no idea. RJ's the second best closer in their office.
That is a fact. It is a fact. And I'm gonna put this on every podcast that I can possibly put it on. And the fact that my reaction to winning was, hey, are you going to defend your crown? And I said, yes, only if Cassie and Elijah can also compete in next year's Closers Olympics, because they are killer closers as well. This is not the RJ show over here. Last year, after the Closers Olympics, on the Monday afterwards, Cassie said, let me show you how to do this. She called one hot lead and had a signed contract 13 minutes later, and mic dropped and walked out of the office and said, why didn't you do that? They wouldn't have voted you out if you did that. So, yeah, we need to get Miss.
Wow.
She was invited to do it this year. She had a family wedding to attend. So that's why she wasn't there this year. So,
wow.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be fair. I'm just going to say it right now. I'm not judging it if you guys are doing all that, because it's just say it's going to be, I'm going to have to take the day off. You know what I mean?
No, Britt, you are judging next year, okay? Because you're the best judge out there.
Yeah.
And I have a beef with Max. Max was eating up everything I was doing while I was live, and then somehow he still docked me for 6 points.
You're going to have to take it up with him.
I know.
He had I think he had other things on his mind that night, RJ. Yeah. That is awesome. So, don't go Brent. All right. I'll do it next year. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, everybody else gave you straight fives. It looks like, RJ. Phenomenal. Jamil, you're inside now.
Yes. I found a quieter spot.
I love it. So are you guys just in it's just a meetup in Orlando? You guys are just having fun?
Yeah, we just thank you, brother. We just we're out here. I'm on the Wolf podcast on Thursday, so we had to extend our trip. He's the Wolf of Wall Street. For those of you guys that are familiar with Jordan Belfort, he's having me on his podcast, and he's out in Los Angeles right now signing a deal with Netflix for a TV show. So he's out there doing that, and he's coming out to Miami on Thursday. So Pace and I have just been in Florida, kind of hanging out, doing some pop-ups, getting some work done. We met with the stars of Zombie House Flipping from another A&E TV show. It's just awesome, just getting to hang out and do our thing. And we just decided to do a quick pop-up. So we posted it about 2 hours ago, and I don't know, an army showed up to say hi to Munif and RJ.
Awesome. Yeah, that was special. That's going to be great. Paula asks you, RJ, I would like to ask RJ, how would he handle the objection of seller wanting to wait until next morning to sign the contract?
Before I answer that, Steve Trang was my judge on the first day, and I got his highest score of the day. So even though he was the East Germany Olympics judge, he does judge fairly. I thought Steve did a great job. Paula, on the overcoming the objection. Again, remember everything that I said. Be yourself, have a conversation. So my answer that I'm going to give you is not applicable to how you could use this in your real life. What I told the seller was, I'm currently in a competition with my buddies, and I need to get a contract by 4 p.m. and it's 3:40. Is your husband around where you could go get him to read the contract so we can get this signed now so I can still achieve my goal? And she said yes. And 1 minute later, she came back and she signed the contract. Real, authentic, transparent communication. And I told people that I was going to do this. I said, I'm going to tell people on the calls that I'm competing to get a contract, because that alleviated all the pressure from me on what to say to sellers. I was just being real and just telling them the truth. Like, no, I can't let you go because I need to get this now. I'm helping you. Can you help me? People like to help you. So it worked out, and I would just do the exact same thing, just whatever's applicable in your life for that moment.
Yeah, I think Cassie hits it right there. It depends on the reason they want to wait to sign. And listen, you threw it out there. I mean, you threw it out, RJ. You were like, you know what? I'm in this competition. Listen, I think that is applicable. I think you find somebody that you squat up with and say, hey, let's see who can get a contract before 4 p.m. You know what I mean? Every single day you say that. You think you're not going to get contracts? You're going to get contracts if you're competing with somebody. It could just be a friendly thing. Right. So I think that it is applicable. And I think Cassie's right. It just depends on what the situation was. She obviously, the seller that you were talking to, I mean, she was ready to go. She didn't need permission. And she was just like, whatever, let's just do this thing. Right. You know what I mean? But she kind of stiff-armed a little bit because she was like maybe a little too fast, but then you just hit her and we're honest with her. And she was like, yeah, I don't care. This is fine. Yep. That's awesome.
I see a question here about how long did it take me to learn creative finance strategies. Can I answer that one real quick?
Yeah, of course.
So I just want to give a shout out to Pace. I think he is incredible with his community that he has built and the fact that he has brought to light creative finance strategies. For anyone that's ever attended a Crucible, you will know the afternoon of the second day is literally basically me making fun of Pace Morby the entire afternoon. Okay. Because it's all based around everybody wanting to scream sub 2 about everything. Okay. So I'm like, all right, guys, we're going to talk exit strategies. What's the best exit strategy? And I guarantee you there's going to be one person in that room that's going to scream sub 2. And I turn around and I'm like, do I look like Pace Morby? And then I write flip, and then I write number 2, and I'm like, what's number 2? And then there's going to be like 2 or 3 people that are going to say sub 2. I love what Pace has done with bringing creative finance to the limelight, right? And the reason why I bring all that up is when I learned creative finance, it's because I hired a mentor to teach it to me. This is not something that you need to try to learn on YouTube. And right now, we actually have an expert in this that if I have a question about creative finance, I call Pace Morby. So much so, that's why he has the Better Call Pace on his YouTube channel, okay? Because I was episode 1 because I called him and I said, you should have a segment called Better Call Pace. And because that's what I would do. And did I have a full understanding of paperwork? Yes, because I hired a mentor and the mentor told me how to do the paperwork. This is not learning how to wholesale for free off of YouTube. This is serious business. And the other aspect of this is it is our obligation that if you're going to go out and you're going to do this, you understand how to do it, because if you screw it up, it only takes a handful of us to mess it up for the rest of us that are doing it the right way, where the government and lobbyists and all that can get involved to change it. Because here in Texas, lease options are a nightmare because people messed it up. They took advantage of people and the government got involved. So if we want sub 2 around, we want seller finance around, we want novation agreements around, then you need to learn how to do it the right way before you start trying to do it. And the best way to do that is to hire a mentor. And you literally are watching his channel right now, his podcast. He's the guy that teaches it better than anybody. Now, if you want to learn how to do anything else in this industry, then you should probably hire me. Sorry, Brent and Jamil.
You're in your right to say that, my brother. We love you. We love you, brother.
No, he's not. But anyway, Peter asks, "Hey guys, how about when they ask if you or your business name and you don't have one yet? Thanks. Does it matter?
No. Like if I have a buyer, I know who's going to buy it. I just say it's going to be in his business name, right? Like if I'm wholesaling it and I don't have one, it's just me. I'll say, well, really, it's going to be bought by this company. And if they ask for websites and things like that, you can just tell them that, like, look, it's anyone can really make a website. Like it's 2021. It takes 5 minutes to make a website. Like having a website and things like that doesn't make somebody credible. And then you can really dig to find out like what's going on. Did something happen? Right? Like, did they get burned? Are they suspicious? Or is it a smoke screen and there's something really going on and they're just using that as like a defense mechanism?
It usually is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, usually, and now listen, sometimes you get some very conservative property owners that they want to check you out on the Better Business Bureau and they want to, do something, Google you and see your name and all these other things. I find that it's very, very rare.
Yes.
Typically, those property owners are going to try to push the value anyway. You know what I mean? They try to. Do you have that experience, RJ, when you get a lot of these real high level objections? Typically, they also come with a high price that they want for these properties.
Yeah, I think so. But I also like to minimize objections like that. I like to sit there and give them an answer. Obviously, I'm in a position where I can say, hey, it's Titanium Investments. That's really not a big deal. Like, let's get back to talking about what's actually going on here and try it's steering the conversation. Right. And I talked about this earlier where, hey, buying a house that's what I want to do. Okay. If I were to go into a restaurant and I want to get food and the waiter wants to sit there and talk to me about 99 other things, I'm eventually going to be like, hey, I want nachos. Okay. I want a burger. Okay. Stop talking to me about other things. You don't need to know my name. I want a burger. Okay. Let's talk about that. And you steer the conversation. And so I think that's where people say, okay, RJ has a very aggressive technique, but that's, to me, hey, when they want to talk to you about things that don't really matter, sometimes you just have to say that. Like, that's really pointless. I mean, I could buy a house as Titanium Investments or RJ Bates. It doesn't really matter.
Love it.
Great question here from Brittany Berryman. So, the Closers Olympics is an amazing event that teaches you how to do 2/3 of a deal, right? You basically got the contract. You got the lead. 2/3 of what the Wholesale Hotline is all about. You got the lead. You talked to people. You converted the seller into a contract. Now, how come Keegley hasn't heard from both of you guys about dispoing those deals and getting you two guys a check?
Are you in Winston-Salem?
I can be.
Very good, because you know what? Max Maxwell's on some boat or Airbnb or airplane or something, and he didn't answer me today.
Let's
call you.
Let's dispo that deal tomorrow. RJ, let's get that done. Munif, what are you doing with your contract?
I actually don't know who submitted it. I sent that over to Elijah. He's gonna find
it goes back to whoever put in the leads. So the audience put in leads, and whoever they locked it up for, they're gonna assign it over to them, and they get the benefit.
Right,
Munif,
exactly.
I might give you some good news, Bubba.
Yeah.
That might not have been submitted by the audience.
Right.
That might have been one of the leads that the Closers Olympics cold called.
Yep.
Because that's what mine is. Because I can tell you last year when I got the 2 verbal agreements, the people that submitted those leads, they were up my butt 35 seconds after I was on the line. Like, yeah, buddy, we got a deal, And I ain't got nothing this year. So I'm like, pretty sure this was and you also saw a Mojo Dialer. So that might be your deal, man.
Oh, that's dope. And the other one that one of the verbals I got, it's a novation agreement. So that one I'm JVing with that person to see. We're gonna sign the novation agreement because we're not gonna fix and flip it. So we're gonna find a fix and flipper who's gonna actually do it, who likes it. We're gonna let the seller know that what's going on. We're gonna structure an agreement with them, and then we're gonna get a finder's fee and split that. Yeah. So that's the other deal we're doing.
That's awesome.
Incredible.
RJ, will you talk about just if people want to get into your world, your coaching, your Crucible, your Titanium, like, will you talk about that a little bit? Let everybody know. We share everything on here. There's no, we're not going to silo everybody's programs here. I want people that love you and want to be around you to really get the exposure. So how do people find out about what you're doing from a training and coaching side?
Yeah, so you could go to titaniumcrucible.com. Okay, that's our website. We're not going to have another event until late January. Now, that being said, the plan always was if RJ becomes the king closer, which pretty much was guaranteed once Carlos retired from judging.
Wait, you don't have a closing seminar?
That's what I was about to say. The plan was there's going to be another thing coming along. And I was very strictly told, you're not making the announcement on Wholesale Hotline. So this is not an announcement. Okay. I'm not announcing anything, but there might be something coming with the words king and closer and about sales.
Awesome.
Just saying.
Awesome.
It's not an announcement, Jamil. Okay.
It's not announced. You guys heard it whispered here.
Yeah.
I didn't hear an announcement.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
It's going to be something like that.
Incredible, RJ. And brother, you're truly a gifted man. You're gifted at what you do. The entire community is better for it, RJ. You've been such a servant for it. That 50 contracts, 50 states, incredible, dude. Incredible. Everybody was rooting for you. I knew you were going to make it, but I was like, this guy is absolutely he's going to destroy himself. And you didn't. You didn't destroy yourself. You come, you go, and you just keep grinding, dude. You've got more stamina than anybody I've seen.
I am allowed to say something about that. Okay. You brought something up, Jamil, and they didn't tell me I could say anything about that. And I'll fight them off if they come in here to stop me. All right. The 50-50-50 is coming back, baby. We're doing it again. And we're doing it with the whole company this time. All right. Wow. Not just me. That's right. You can't stop me. We're coming back, baby. We're doing it again.
50-50-50.
We're going to do 50 deals and 50 states and 50 days. But it's going to be the whole company. Look at that
beautiful lady.
So it's going to be more like 500 deals in 50 states and 50 days.
Get Cassie back out here. Get Cassie back out here.
Cassie, come on. They want to talk to you. They've heard enough of me. They've heard me BSing all weekend, okay? Come talk to the pretty people.
Hi, my darlings.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
So big weekend for Titanium.
Yes.
I think that he probably would have gotten the full 120 points if it was you representing the team. Okay. But, he got 104, 107, or 108 or whatever he
108,
got.
108. I was
108.
paying attention.
Wasn't 120. But maybe next year. Maybe they throw the real queen closer in there next year. And,
what's really funny about that is I was actually really, really sad that I didn't get to participate. I was legitimately trying to time it with the wedding and all my responsibilities with the wedding, the driving, because it was in Corpus, which is a 6.5, sometimes 7.5 hour drive from where we are. And I'm like, can I fly to Corpus? What's the situation? And I just had to say, look, RJ is phenomenal, but I am you can go on any of my lives. I am not technologically I get very what I'm so used to my setups, and it makes me so I was like, there's no way I'm doing this in a hotel room on my laptop. I will not be representing correctly. And then RJ talked me back into it. And then I was just like, there's no way with the timing of the wedding. So I was still going to try to do it. I was going to try to pull an RJ, do this out of a hotel room. But I mean, I can't say enough about, I've been saying since, 10 years ago, I guess he's the best closer in the world. I've never seen anything like it. I get to see him all day, every day, not in competition. He's unbelievable. I'm so proud of him. I said I wasn't going to compete next year if he won. I was like, we got to give, other people a chance to show. show because but I guess we do have very different closing skills. But I love the whole competition. I love what it does for the industry. I love, I've been listening to this whole episode. I love what it does for people in their skills. It's like RJ said, he has his own unique style. I close very similarly to him with certain types of sellers, but for me, I change it up. Like we're very unscripted here all together. And so I think he represented our whole team well. I think he represented the industry well. Munif, I was so impressed with you. I got to watch, I didn't get to watch on Friday, but I was in the car all day yesterday, so I got to watch your extra 15 minutes, and it was just like I literally was messaging RJ. I stopped at Starbucks to get myself a latte, and I was literally messaging RJ, and I was like, he sounds just like Pace. It's pretty funny. But I mean, what an incredible and then of course, when Brent's scorecard came out, I was like, that's my guy Brent right there. But I mean, I didn't get to watch Lauren's performance yet, but I definitely will come and represent for the team and the ladies. He just called me right out there, like said it was a demand. I guess I have to do it now.
I love it.
Why do you have so many beers?
Yeah, is he gonna crack open? Yeah, there we go.
Do it.
He's gonna do it.
Come on, we need everybody. They want to see it, RJ. They need to see it.
I didn't fix my hair today, but these are expensive.
Yes. Drop that's the bottom. That's the bottom line. Come on.
That's the bottom line, he says.
That's the bottom line because RJ Bates said so.
Yeah. Woo! Yeah.
You have to go show your beard on camera. Look at that thing.
That's so much harder than you think.
Yes.
For everybody that's listening to this podcast, it's been a wild ride. RJ just poured 2 beers all over his very thick, very luxurious, very absorbent beard. So that's how he drinks his beers. So that's it, guys. That's it for Wholesale Hotline. Munif, again, thank you so much. Thank you so much for jumping on here the day after a lot of emotions yesterday and jumping on here. You're the man. I'm so excited for you and your future. Jamil crushing it out there in Orlando, and Cassie and RJ, the champs. So until next time, guys, we love you. If you didn't get your questions answered, see me Wednesday, 10 o'clock. That is Mountain Standard Time now. And if you need some comping, make sure that you go. Jamil, you live this week? Are you going to be back? You comping? Straight up comping? Make sure you watch that on Sunday at, what is it, 3?
It'll be at, oh God, the time changed. At, I think, 4 p.m. Pacific.
Okay, there you go. And then Pace, is he going to?
Pace will be around on Sunday.
Sunday service. Check out his YouTube channel, guys. We love you guys. You guys are the best. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, guys.